What's up, guys? My name is Gabe, and welcome back to the Trojan Blade. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the instant reaction to USC's 28-20 win over the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Just a crazy game any way you look at it. This game was wild from start to finish. It was contentious, it was chippy, there were tipped balls, there were crazy penalties, blocked kicks, pick sixes. This game truly had it all. Of course, before we go any further, I do want to say shout out to any of you Nebraska fans that are watching. That was a very tough game that could have went either way. But talking about this game, there's so many angles to talk about here. Let's just start out with the easy one. Let's talk about Jaden Mava. So man, we got the full Jaden Mava experience in this game. He looked identical to how he looked at UNLV. Some really impressive throws. You see that NFL quality arm he has. You see him making plays out in space. Very effective in the zone read game, especially down the red zone. But man, you also saw some of those wild, inexplicable, catastrophic turnovers that plagued him at UNLV. His decision-making on the day, especially in that first half, was really, really bad. I thought it got a lot better as the game went on. He and Lincoln got on the same page. I thought this was by far the best game Lincoln has called the entire year. We really didn't give them a lot of different looks formation-wise, but there was a lot of variance in the concepts we were running. I thought Jaden benefited very much from how Lincoln was calling this game. Things made sense. The Cornhusker defense was off balance. Tony White had no idea what was coming next. Lincoln completely outcoached him today. But again, the thing that I loved most about Jaden's performance, the thing that gives me the most hope going forward, is how he got more and more comfortable as the game went on. He looked much more confident in what he was seeing, where he was throwing, and of course the actual placement and touch of the football. He seems to have a ton of trust in Duce Robinson and Zachariah Branch. Mekhi Lemon was Miller's guy, that's very clear to see. Seems like Jaden has a lot more trust built up with Duce, with Zachariah, with Kyron Hudson. Also, I got a lot of questions about where's Jacoby Lane, why isn't he playing? If I had to guess, I would say that Jacoby Lane is in the doghouse. If you aren't on Twitter and you missed this whole thing, the day after the Mava starting news got announced, Jacoby took to Twitter and said some not so flattering things about the coaching staff. So I assume that's why we didn't see much of Jacoby today. But going back to Lincoln Riley and his play calling, I thought the game plan today was flawless. This was a very balanced approach, 35 runs to 32 rushes. Love to see that. I also love the way Lincoln took a very simple concept, like that motion coming in from the right side out of shotgun. On that exact look, we ran a jet sweep. We ran our normal GT counter. We ran a zone read. We ran a fake jet sweep, little sprint out pass. We did a ton of things off that very simple look, and the Nebraska defense simply couldn't keep up with it. Stats-wise on the day, though, Jaden was 25 at 35, 259, 3 touchdowns and a pick. As well as Jaden played at times, he could have easily had 3 or 4 interceptions in this game. The decision-making simply has to get better. He put the ball in harm's way time and time again in that first half. Got very lucky with a few of those balls. And of course, the fumble is absolutely inexcusable. Cannot have that at this level. I do expect him to get that cleaned up. It's one thing to make the jump from the Mountain West to the Big Ten, but actually being on the field, seeing it firsthand, he's going to know what level it takes to play on this field. And I do think that will help him clean up some of those mistakes. Just to see the speed firsthand, to see the defenses firsthand, it's going to do wonders for his development. Now, for me, on the year, the MVP of this team is undoubtedly Woody Marks. He wasn't healthy coming into this game. He got even more banged up during the course of this game. And he just comes out and goes 19 carries for 146 yards. Averaging 7.7 a pop. That is elite. He's an absolute warrior. He's tough as nails. He's everything you want a Trojan to be. I cannot say enough about Woody and what he means to this program and to this team. This is Travis Dye 2.0, but he's an even better player than Travis Dye, which is crazy to say. But I simply can't say enough about Woody Marks, a phenomenal player. Talking about the offensive line, I was very high on Elijah Paige to start the year. We all know this. I said he was going to be an All-American. I said he was going to be a first-round pick. I actually said that all the way back during his commitment video. And that Michigan game earlier in the year was baptism by fire. He was dreadful in that game. He got benched after the first half. He then slowly started to get better, still having some very rough moments, but was showing some signs of life. And now at this point in the year, well into the second half of the season, he is turning into the player we all knew he could be. When he gets out in space, when he's a lead blocker, when he's pulling, he's an elite athlete at that size. He's the most physical player on the field. And man, he's just getting better and better. If I said I was surprised, I would be lying. Fully expected this from him. This is the player I expected earlier in the year, and obviously very, very excited to see how he progresses going forward. Talking about the wideouts, though, I thought Duce Robinson really had a breakout game today. Duce would always have these big moments where you thought maybe this was it, but then he'd go up for a contested catch, he wouldn't really battle for it, and he wouldn't come down with the ball. In this game, he was the absolute alpha of this wide receiver room. He battled his ass off, obviously made a huge play on the big touchdown catch. Beautiful route by him, beautiful ball by Jaden. But when he bailed Jaden out in that first half and came back and snatched that ball, that was going to be an interception, that was going to be a game changer. And Duce Robinson comes out of nowhere and makes one of the biggest plays of the entire game. Massive performance from him, hopefully only up from here. And guys, don't look now, but Zachariah Branch is starting to look back to his normal self. That unsportsmanlike penalty he had was dreadful. It was completely unacceptable. They didn't show the Makai Lemon one on the TV broadcast, so I'm not exactly sure what he did. So unacceptable from him as well. But Zachariah is starting to look fast again. He looks confident when he gets the ball in his hands. And it just really looks like he's starting to heat up here at the end of the year. If he can end this year on a positive note, I think that would do wonders for him heading into next season. So overall from the offense, not at all what we expect from a Lincoln Riley offense, at least talking about from a historical perspective. But for this year, for this year's USC team, I thought it was a great performance from them. That fourth down option call to the left side was absolutely insane. That's the kind of creativity that Jaden Mava allows Lincoln Riley to have. A lot of you have said it during the course of this year, but there is definitely something to the fact that Lincoln Riley is a better play caller when he has a mobile quarterback in there. I think I might have overlooked that during the course of this year, but any of you who said that were absolutely right. Loved what we saw from them, but now let's talk about the defense. I thought the defense overall was very good on the day. Dylan Raiola stat-wise finished 27 of 38 for 191, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. I thought overall we did a pretty good job against the running game, but you guys already know what I'm going to say. The biggest issue by far on this entire team is just the overall lack of any kind of pass rush. We did get 2 sacks on the day, which is a big improvement from what we've been doing, but there's just a severe lack of pressure during the course of the game. Without a doubt, priority number 1 this offseason has to be to load up on pass rusher. Interior, exterior, ends, edges, whatever. We need guys that can get after the quarterback in the worst way possible. And look, everybody has injuries. Every single team in America has one guy that they would just love to have back that would change their team. But what I will say is I wonder what this team would look like if Eric Gentry had never gotten hurt. You see the kind of impact a guy like Kamari Ramsey has when he comes back? He was flying all over the field. He did have that one missed tackle in the first half. But man, what a bonus it is to have a guy like that in the back end who can tackle the way he can. He reads the game like a vet. He's so smart. He diagnoses so quickly, and he is just all over the field for us. Loved his performance. Jalen Smith was one of our most important players once again. Cannot overstate how good of a player he is. The play he made on the interception gave the wideout absolutely zero room. Raiola tried to force it in there, and Jalen made him pay. I thought we saw some serious flashes from Cameron Fountain. It's a shame that big play he made in the backfield got wiped out by the hands to the face by Abasiri. But we all saw what happened. He blew that play up. He's going to be a real player for us and very soon. I thought the deployment of Solomon Tuliaupupu, particularly late in the second half, was very interesting. You saw him lining up at linebacker and really rushing the passer from the center of that defensive line. He'd start 3 or 4 yards back and then hit it at a dead sprint. We have done that a few times this year, but we were really doing that a lot late in this game. I don't know how I got this far into the video without shouting out Eddie Chaplichki. He's the best punter in the country, going to win the Ray Guy. He's just an absolute machine. Beautiful punt after beautiful punt. He's a massive part of why we won today. Pinning them back as many times as he did cannot overstate the importance of that. So overall in the day, man, it feels good to get one of these close wins. Totally forgot what this feels like. This was a win that we just needed in the worst of ways. Only one win away from bowl eligibility. And as young as this team is, those bowl practices are absolutely invaluable. And as young as this team is, those bowl practices are gold. But what this does more than anything, it gives this program, it gives this fan base, it gives these players, and it gives this coaching staff a shot of life. We all know that this is a bad year. It's an unacceptable year. We don't play for bowl eligibility at USC. We have different expectations here. At the same time, this is the situation that we find ourselves in. We got ourselves into it, and hopefully next year we can get ourselves out of it. But we have 2 massive games coming up at the end of this year. 2 games you have to win at USC. You have to beat the Bruins, and you have to beat the Irish. There's a chance to end this year on a very high note. Now, if we play the way we played today against UCLA, against Notre Dame, I don't think we're going to win those games. A lot to still clean up, a lot to get better. But at the same time, we saw that the blueprint's there. We can play a physical brand of football. We can run the ball. We can hit explosives in the pass game. We can create turnovers on defense. We can flip the field on you. What we can't do is turn the ball over, have back-breaking penalties, and just continue to shoot ourselves in the foot over and over again. But regardless of what the result was going to be today, what I wanted to see is a team that's fighting, a team that flashes some very high talent, and a team that refuses to get punched in the mouth, a team that plays for each other. And I think we saw that today. You saw the Nebraska players pre-game all around our logo, which if you've played football at any level, you'll get why our players reacted the way they did. I get that Nebraska was doing a prayer circle or whatever, but you can do that anywhere. Don't stand on our logo. That is what we stand for. That is us. Go stand in the end zone and do it. Go stand in a corner and do it. I don't care. Do not stand on our logo. Our players defended that. Nebraska was trying to start shit during the game. We stood right back up to them, sometimes at our own detriment with those penalties that our two wideouts got. But hey, we didn't back down. We didn't take any shit. And of course, we are still undefeated against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Not gonna lie, man, this win feels pretty good. In a season full of shit, this is definitely gonna stand out as one of the better days. So happy for Jaden Mava, happy for Lincoln Riley, love Woody Marks. A ton of work to do, a lot to still clean up. But of course, it is always better to do that after a big win. So guys, if you did happen to enjoy this instant reaction, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Cannot thank you guys enough for all the support. You're all awesome, and as always, take care and fight on.